Hello everybody, welcome back to the Red Men TV, and this is the part of the day when we sit here and we just bask in the glory of supporting this wonderful, wonderful football club after Liverpool beat is an understatement, Manchester City 2-0 at Anfield. The scoreline well and truly flattered Manchester City. Liverpool ran riot this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It was a humbling of the most extreme level. We were all over them like a cheap suit from the outset. It was unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to talk about it for the next half an hour or so, whatever it may be. Get your chat in as you are doing in your dozens stroke hundreds. It is unbelievable. What a time to be a Red. What a time to be alive. Exactly this. Lee Baker gets us going. Drink it in. Drink it in, indeed. It was unbelievable. We were so good, like scintillatingly good. They couldn't handle us. And we spent a lot of time pre-match saying sort of how superior we felt and sort of how confident we were going into it, and all the sort of the signs pointed towards us being the better team, and you know, having the ability to flex our muscles and actually do it is a different matter altogether. But we did. And listen, 2-0, again, flatters them. Tenfold flatters them. It could have been 4, 5, 6 comfortably, and that's just in the first 20 minutes. We were honestly so good to watch. They shit themselves. Their heads are in the bin. And there's a moment, and this is such a minor detail of the entire game. We'll talk more about the big moments and the reasons we won the game in the next few minutes. But when they had that free kick, City, after they did get a little bit of a foothold after our initial sort of just superiority and that initial dominance I spoke about, they had a set piece, they had a free kick, and you thought, okay, if this comes into the box, you never know. And they play it short and they do something mad and they end up back at their own keeper. And it's like their heads are all over the place here. They're in the bin. They do not know what day of the week it is. Anfield, Liverpool, etc. They were all over the gaff, and Dickie says here they were pish, and they were like, I don't think it was miles easier than Real Madrid, by the way, Lee, miles easier. I don't think we let them be any better than what they showed today, but at the same time, they're a mess right now, an absolute mess. Like, many more teams will take points off them if they don't fix what's broken, and quickly, because they're miles away from what they've been in recent seasons. And we're boss, and we're capitalising on it, but at the same time, they are not. They've been a force to be reckoned with for a long time. Not anymore. Like, not anymore. Not by the evidence of what we've just seen today. Just, yeah. Thank you very much, BM, for the support. And all of you in the chat for your support as well. I'm blown away by what we've just been able to do there. Like, what a week it's been as well. I'm fucking Real Madrid and Man City, European champions of Spain, and then the Premier League champions. And for everybody going into the season, probably the Premier League champions elect as well. People were talking City, Arsenal, who's going to win? They're going to fight it out again. Liverpool will be also Rans. Not a fucking bit of it. Not a single bit of it. Arne Slot very much had different ideas. And yeah, again, we were miles clear. Pep can't manage when he doesn't have a checkbook. Yeah, listen, he can't manage without Rodri. I think that's become pretty sort of self-explanatory over the last month or so, hasn't it? Ever since he went missing, injured. And to be fair, Rodri is Ballon d'Or winner. You know, he's two players rolled into one ultimately, isn't he? But yeah, without him, they look a shell of the former selves. And it's just so glorious to watch, because I despise them. Absolutely despise them. Veronica says, beating the champions of Premiership and Europe in 1 week is something we'll remember in years to come. It is. We've had weeks like this. I have to go back to 2009. We played United and Real Madrid, ironically Real Madrid again, in the same week, and we won both games, and Andre de Sena scored in both games, which is something. But yeah, and that's 15 years ago, and I've just remembered it like that. So you're absolutely spot on. These are the sort of weeks and sort of days that you should and will remember, no matter what it means between now and the end of the season. I feel like it'll mean a lot, to be honest. But yeah, just enjoy the ride, because my God, it doesn't get much better. It doesn't get much sweeter. It really doesn't. Robert Howe asks, have we played anyone yet? I don't think we've played anyone yet. In spite of playing the entire top 5 or 6 now in the Premier League, the champions of Germany, champions of Spain, and a few other teams along the way as well, I don't actually think Liverpool have physically played anybody yet. So, yeah, remember that when you're going into work tomorrow, that narrative will remain. And we've got no injuries. Despite not having Alisson Becker, Diogo Jota, Federico Chiesa, Ibrahim Konate, Kostas Tsimikas, and a couple others I feel like I forgot, as Conor Bradley. We have no injuries, clean bill of health. So we're actually, we're getting away with it a little bit, guys. God, it gives you shivers, doesn't it? Thank you, MK, for the chat. As a Liverpool Football Club, the Red Men, love you all. You're English champions, European champions, Real Madrid Sister Week, 2 clean sheets as well, and 2 dominant performances. There was phases in today's game. I was more frustrated with today's game. We'll circle back around to actually talking about it, because we were so much the better team. We were so far in the ascendancy. Honest to God, I'm not over-exaggerating when I say Liverpool could have been 4-5-0 up inside the opening 20 minutes. Van Dijk hits the post. Trent, if we played Forest, yeah. Trent clips the post a little bit later on as well. Ortega has to make 1 or 2 good saves. There's the Gakpo chance when it breaks for him in the edge of the area. There's obviously the goal itself, which is a goal. There were so many moments in the opening 20, and there were so many, nicely done, they were just in the bin again. They were panicking, they were just good, they couldn't get out, they were dwelling on the ball, we were nicking it, we were all at the press from us, we were, honest to God, like wasps just buzzing around them, and they didn't have time to think. Their heads were in dishwashers, they were all over the gap, and I think Anfield contributes to that. But Szoboszlai, that is performance of the season for me from Dominic Szoboszlai. For him, absolutely phenomenal. And what a selection from Arne Slot to throw him in. Just knowing their City are in such a dark place right now, psychologically, having somebody like Dom just to harry them and be a nuisance and to not give them a single second to think on the ball was going to cause problems. And my word, did it cause problems, because they couldn't cope. They just could not cope with us from minute 1 to the very end. And even they're such season winners in that Man City side. Like, they've been there, done it, got the T-shirt, won numerous things. But even then, with all the muscle memory they've got in their very fibres, even they couldn't live with Liverpool today. We're too much to handle right now. And yeah, boss. I did see I seen Salah say something, and then the camera cuts but I don't know what was said, because I've got it on the screen, but I can't hear it. If anyone can give me sort of the transcript of what was said, I'd absolutely love to know. Jog says Robbo and Dom, both best performances of the year. Yeah, absolutely. They were both sensational, and defensively we were a boss as well. Like Joe Gomez, big shout out to Joe Gomez coming in and playing the way he did and handling, Erling Haaland the man he did, and Van Dijk, that bit defended over his head. Ridiculous. And also I want to make mention, and we'll talk about the better details in a minute, but Joel Quansah coming on at right back right at the end there and playing brilliantly when he did so as well. He's been not the forgotten man, but a little bit the forgotten man. He's actually been sort of outcast ever so slightly, in that when he has played, he has had a couple of mistakes, a couple of things that led to goals and all that sort of stuff. He's obviously came off in the first game at half time, so a lot of people have been questioning Joel Quansah and his future. And he comes on 15 minutes to go in that and sees it out with us perfectly. Yeah, made it of him. We'll do man the match stuff and play a ranking show a little bit later on, where you have your chance to rank every single Liverpool player. We should just be boss, won't it? Let's be honest, it'll just be fun. And it always is recently. I'm really enjoying these post-game shows in a minute. If Liverpool could keep winning, it makes my life far easier. Simon Cook says Kelleher man the match. He did bail Virgil out a little bit, didn't he? We can all gloss over that now because we got away with it, and we won 2-0. But we can also, be thankful for Kevin Kelleher once again. Jog16 says the Grav turn is a new Cruyff turn. Yeah, I mean, Phil Foden, he was left floundering trying to get hold of Ryan Gravenberch, wasn't he? And again, honestly, to a man, I had a hard time deciding who was my man the match, and we'll do this in more detail later on. But we were so good today. I thought Trent was exceptional coming back in as well, by the way. Defensively, once or twice, Jeremy Doku got the better of him, but Jeremy Doku will do that. Like, he wouldn't be a winger in the Premier League if he wasn't beating his man at least once or twice. I think generally Trent handled him brilliantly when he came on, but I thought first half in particular, it's Trent's pass that allows us to score the first goal. He releases Salah, who in turn picks out Cody Gakpo, of course, and then Trent plays another ball a few minutes later to get Salah in behind, which is, it shouldn't be allowed, to be honest with you. I'm a sucker for a technician and a pass that, quite frankly, it's on the wrong channel. Let's put it that way. It shouldn't be on Sky Sports. It should be on something that you have to type into Google and it starts with P and then it asks you if you're 18 or older when you go onto it. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the details other than that. That's my only knowledge of this particular site, but that's where that second pass belongs. And I'm not willing to comment on it any further. So instead, I'm going to go into the chat. Nat Nunes sliding in our boxo Santa Darwin Nunes at the end. A couple of defensive moments from Darwin. Yeah, another one, Matthew McCarthy mentions it. Love Nunes at the end, defend corners and trying to slide tackle off at the pitch 2 seconds later. He was, one thing you can never doubt with Darwin is his commitment to the cause. And even though he probably was a bit pissed off to come off the bench today and not start the game, once he comes on, he does not hold back. He gives everything to make sure Liverpool get over the line and get over the line with a clean sheet as well. So, just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Simon Cook, it very much was an X-rated pass, my friend. Does anyone know what Mo said? Yeah. Because I'd quite like to know. Dickie Red to the foot, Trent did well considering his lack of footy. I thought he did brilliantly, to be honest with you. Oh, here we go. Jerome Wise said, Salah said it's probably his last game against City at Anfield. But what Owen says makes sense. If he didn't want to stay, we wouldn't even be talking about it. Okay. I mean, do you mean Michael Owen? Because not often that's the case, is it? Let's be fair. He said his last game against City. Okay. Well, yeah. I'm not going to dive into that right now. But listen, ultimately, it kind of is right now. That's kind of the truth of the matter. Like that, as the facts are laid out on the table, that will be Mo Salah's last home game against City, unless we get them in the FA Cup or something like that. But let's hope not, eh? Let's all hope and pray not. Just coming back to the performance today. The only annoying factor out the whole afternoon really was that we were so good and we were so dominant, and it looked so easy and so effortless really for us to get at them time and time again, that I wanted it to reflect more in the scoreline, because the longer it went on 1-0, the more it felt like all it takes is a moment. The ball breaks in the box, Erling Haaland gets away. Like, to be fair, Van Dijk stopped that happening one time, but like that's all it is. One bit of quality, one moment of magic from somebody. And for all their problems right now, City definitely possess players that can do that to you. So yeah, it was just an annoyance, a frustration, but ultimately, thanks to Luis Diaz nicking the ball, winning the penalty, and Mohammed Salah's goal. Although Mohammed Salah, well, the penalty was exceptional. The penalty was absolutely cold, pinpoint. I thought it was a brilliant pen, especially on the back of missing one in midweek. But my God, he should have put it to bed beforehand. He had a glorious chance, and it's him who makes the chance away. Nicks it on the halfway line, away goals. He's 1-on-1 with Ortega. I think it's Szoboszlai up with him. Never for 1 second did he look like he was going to pass it. And yeah, he missed. And that was it. I thought that was the moment where we can put the game to bed, because, again, 1-0, dangerous, properly dangerous. 2-0 was never likely to be a dangerous scoreline in that game. And I know De Bruyne has a chance, which Keller saves. And again, I know City are what City are, but we were so much better than them. I felt like the minute we got the second goal, what that does to them mentally would have been too hard to come back from. And I actually think I've seen some of the post-game stuff like immediately after the final whistle as well. I think a lot of sort of Pep Guardiola and the City players generally, a lot of their sort of demeanour in front of their fans was almost an acceptance that they're not what they were, and they're probably not likely to challenge for the title anymore. Now, it's still so early, and I'm still buzzing off the fact of what we just done, so maybe I am getting a little bit ahead of myself. But it's hard to imagine exactly this, really short a name. It's hard to imagine, it's hard to envisage that City team has just turned up at Anfield and looked shell-shocked and looked like they couldn't cope with us. It's hard to see them going on what will they need to do? They'll need to replicate something they've done against us in the past and go on like a 15, 16, 17 game winning streak. That feels far-fetched to me right now. I'll be dead honest. That feels really, really far-fetched to me right now. I did enjoy the Pep putting up the 6. Mainly because it showed a human side to him, which you don't see very often, but also because he was showing his class by obviously respecting how many European Cups Liverpool had won, which I thought was nice of Pep to do that. So fair play. I'm not the huge Pep Guardiola fan. I'm not exactly enamoured with Pep, but I thought it was a nice touch for him to sort of show some some class inside Anfield. So fair play. Fair play. You'll never slot alone, says Pat16. Okay. Yeah, you do you, my mate. It's not a night for questioning what people want to do alone. It's a night for enjoying the Reds. And that's what we're going to do for a little bit longer, just yet. Just going to dive into the Twitter, see if any good comments on there momentarily. So while I do that, you talk amongst yourselves. Somebody's left a member chat. Pepper behind goes, how many losses he's had? Yeah, all that. We caught all the ballies in the slot penitentiary. Yeah, that slot penitentiary is getting chocker. They might have to implement that rule they've just done in the UK. Don't know if you're okay with it or not, because I don't know where you're watching from. But recently, they've allowed prisoners, what a weird fucking topic of conversation this is when you just beat Man City. They've allowed prisoners, I suppose criminals, to leave early once you've served 40% of your sentence. It used to be 50, they've moved it to 40 because there's overcrowding in prisons. And where there definitely is overcrowding right now is the slot penitentiary. There was a point to that entire tangent that I just went off on. We got there in the end. So, LFC Seattle on Twitter says, how about these Reds? The mighty Reds keep the quality and form results going with a comprehensive 2-0 victory over the defending champions. Feels like I'm on some sort of AI. Arda has got them ticking along, and more importantly, all of us believing big time. Yeah, are you believing yet? That's a good question. Because I had a quick look at the Premier League table before jumping on this, because, why not? And are you believing yet? Are you willing to say it? Are you willing to sing it? I don't know, where are we at in terms of our confidence levels? I mean, again, when you look at the table and the points gap, it's a case of mind the gap to Man City, Arsenal a bit less so. But yeah, how are the confidence levels really? Wes on Twitter also says, City are lucky we didn't drop a 5-0 on them. Pep would have been gone. They're not sacking Pep Guardiola. He basically runs the entire City football club. He's not going to sack himself. Virgil van Dijk should have scored. So he should have scored is an understatement, by the way. He could have had a hat-trick in the first half. He was so good defensively. Mind-blowing performance by the whole team. Daniel Gore proving the point there. How many games have City lost in the last 7 games? Pep, 6. We just beat the European champions and the Premier League champions in 1 week. I wonder who will now say we haven't played anyone yet, from Phil Kennedy. Jack Weston says, mine's the fact we could have took our chances a little bit better. Still a brilliant performance. These tight run of games recently was going to determine how Slot was going to handle the Prem, and he's passed with flying colours. Also, he makes a point about the European Cups as well. Nice. Great minds think alike. Scott Barton, now this is the kind of comment I can get behind. Was probably the worst I've seen City since they were formed in 2012, but equally we controlled it for the first minute. A little bit of Schadenfreude there. That's nice. Claire Dean called it in the YouTube. 2-0 to the mighty Reds. Bruce, I don't know what went on in the chat whilst I wasn't here, but never unclench. Baloo, I didn't stop believing you'll never walk alone. We do that, Phil. We do that. We do this, Phil. It wasn't a mistake, honestly. We do that here. Not much. It's mostly the YouTube, but we do a little bit of that as well. We like to keep everybody involved here. It's just kind of how we are. What a win, 9 points clear. Yeah, I can't quite fathom. I can fathom where we are because I'm totally bought into that. But I keep thinking in my head that we're 11 clear because we've got 11 clear of City. I still, and this may be more fool me, and it could come back to bite me in the arse in a major way, by the way, and I'm happy to accept it if it does. I'm still viewing the main priority as being so far ahead of City. If City give up on the title, that's a huge win for us personally. And, the Arsenal thing is the Arsenal thing, and hopefully we'll deal with that in due course as well. But having Arsenal need to come to Anfield, having already been there, is a massive boost. The fact that we've still got to go to the Etihad, it remains a problem. But now we're so far clear of them. And again, they look done in. They look frazzled. They look like their heads are ready to just implode at any minute. And tests are going to keep coming thick and fast for them. The way they played today, and with how mentally fragile they look, they could lose to Ipswich, for instance, next week if they were playing them. I've got no idea. Southampton caused them problems a few weeks ago, remember that? They're not it. They're not at it at all. Hitchin Baz says, I said it during the game, can you come pawn it now? I don't know what that means. and neither does anxiety. So I dread to think what you're doing whilst watching this stream, if that's the word that popped in your mind. But listen, mate, it was good. It was confirm. Oh, okay. That's some spelling mistake. That is either some spelling mistake or some autocorrect. Either way, listen, mate. We know we all have needs. I'll read it again, but with the proper words. Said it during the game. Can you confirm it now? Virgil pocketed Haaland, 2 shots, 1 blocked, 1 on target, 0.19 xg. Tell you I'm wrong. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Well, I could tell you you're wrong, but not because of what you've said, more because of one of the words. I could call you a wrong un for one of the words, if truth be really told. But it's a hell of a spell check, Lee. Yeah, Josh. You've been done dirty there. You've been done dirty. We're all friends here. Come on, let's drop it now. Tom Uri? Apologies. I've had a whole life of people saying my surname wrong, so, we move. Pep holding 6 fingers like he's done something special is utterly ridiculous. You cheated to win the title 6 times. Yeah, and maybe... Oh, voice text, okay. A little bit dirty, yeah. Pep Hub, that's a nice touch. Yeah, maybe that is a thing. I've not experienced that myself, but then whiter than white. What was I saying then about this super chat? Sorry, let me get back up. Yeah, listen, hopefully, before too long, we will know exactly how much they cheated and they will be punished accordingly. However that is. Hopefully it's all fair and above board, of course, because that's what we want. We want justice to be done, ladies and gentlemen. No bias, no favours here. But yeah, let's just wait and see. No, I hate him, Jerome. I really hate him, honestly. I think he's an excellent manager, obviously, because I'm not an idiot. And what he's done can't be argued with. But for me, I can't look beyond the fact he's done it with everything laid out in front of him for which to do it. Man City were preparing for the arrival of Pep Guardiola before he got to the football club. And then when he got there, what's been able and what's been possible has just gone up and up and up and up. And a lot of it seemingly whilst bending or at least playing fast and loose with some of the rules, hence why they're in court right now. In Barcelona, yeah, the best player in the world, the best players ever existed, in my opinion, in Lionel Messi, short of Mohammed Salah, of course. And then he went to Bayern Munich, treble winners Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich pretty much always win the league, and yet still. And then he arrives at Man City, again, with everything laid out in front of him, said, go on then, what do you want to do? Oh, Mr. Krabs, this is nothing. Mr. Krabs, by the way, nice name. Listen, the guy's a sensational football manager, sensational football coach, of course he is. What he's been able to do, despite what I've just said, with the teams and the riches he's been given, has been nothing short of sensational. However, there is a little bit of me that would like to see him, not so much this, Diane, I take your point on it. This is kind of where I'm at a little bit. The problem has always been, and everyone spends money, of course you do, but the issue and the difference for City was they could spend 60 million on someone. If it didn't work, it didn't matter. They just went and did it again the next window. He had all the wiggle room in the world. He didn't have to get it right with a transfer. You could just buy Calvin Phillips, and then when Calvin Phillips isn't the answer, you go, we're going to get Matthias Nunes instead. It makes no fucking odds to him whatsoever. How easy is that? You know what I mean? What a piece of piss. The lower league point is a point. I will come back to Liverpool in a moment. But it's not even that. I just like to see him go somewhere where it isn't all one way and he hasn't got everything at his disposal. And a team that historically finishes 4th, maybe, for argument's sake, and they aren't the richest club in the league, somewhere in Italy, maybe France. Try and take on PSG in France if you're that special. Anyway, rant's over. And again, he's boss, of course he is, but, not really for me. They are Forest in the week. Like him, yeah, back at Barcelona's a good shout, and that feels like a good fit, of course. Although, to be fair, Hansi Flick is doing a pretty good job of that right now. Sound. So, I'll start to wrap up in a minute, and I'll dive over to the other chat and the other boards before I do so. Wasn't it nice, though, just sort of round off on today, wasn't it nice to see a team that's caused us such heartache? Not necessarily always at Anfield, of course. Our record against them at Anfield is really, really good. But it was just glorious to watch some of the players, and in particular Bernardo Silva, who's just the worst human being. But it was really nice to watch us and watch them sort of mid-demise come to Anfield in what is a sort of a new look, a newly refurbished, part of Arna's evolution Liverpool team, which is purring, firing on lots of the cylinders, not all of them just yet. And then just Kyle Walker, Kevin De Bruyne, even when he come on, a little bit of Erling Haaland, even Phil Foden's not in form right now. Just players like that who've won so much and been such a thorn in our side down the years. Wasn't it just glorious to watch them come and be like, I don't know what the fuck's happening here. And Liverpool are too good for us, and we outclassed them, and we outran them, we outworked them, we out everythinged them. That was just nice. Like, it was just glorious to watch. Nobody's getting carried away, says Lee Wizkid. Yeah. We're just enjoying the Reds winning and being top of everything. Yeah, and that's what it all boils down to. I think anxiety, that's getting carried away, that. I was just about to say, it's just got to keep taking it one game at a time. We've got a massive week coming up. Newcastle Wednesday, the Ev on Saturday in the derby. Like, those are two games. Newcastle, admittedly, aren't enjoying their best moment right now. Just lost Alexander Isak as well. So that game's taking on an ever so slightly different path, really. But the Everton game, albeit they got absolutely done by United today, which tells you a lot, that has a different, a higher level of importance and a higher level of sort of treachery for lots of different reasons. So yeah, it's difficult. Salah just posted a pic on Twitter that would fit the earlier typo. Has he now? Well, between shows, I'll be sure to check that out, because I will start wrapping up in a moment. But I was going to say this, Diane. It took the words out of my mouth before I went off on a completely different tangent, which happens a lot on this show. It took one game at a time, 1920, so the same again this time. Yeah, 100%. I do wonder who from the Liverpool ranks will be the one to keep saying it. Will it be Slot? Will it be Salah? Van Dijk? Because I remember Jordan Henderson and a little bit of Andy Robbo as well, sort of week in, week out during our running 1920, just keep coming out and saying it was a mantra. They had it like written on the foreheads by the time December come around. One game at a time, one game at a time, one game at a time. And it's right. It's the right approach to take. Inwardly, they might be sort of getting a little bit more excited than that, but outwardly, you have to just keep plugging away, business as usual, working every single day, keep learning. Because again, I say this every single week. Next Saturday, by the way, I say this every single week. The best thing about this Liverpool team right now, and peek behind the curtain for Red Men. Once I'm done here tonight, I'm actually not going home for a good couple of hours after I've got 2 shows to record. One of which is going to be sort of looking into what this Liverpool team are right now and what else is to come for this Liverpool team by speaking to somebody who knew the final team very, very well. And just how far away from being what Arne Slot wants are we? Because we're sitting here having beat Real Madrid and we're sitting there having beat Man City, and I'm still prepared to say in front of you beautiful people on YouTube that I don't believe we're anywhere near the finished article yet. And that is such a luxurious position to be in. Like, we're top of the leagues, and yet still we're probably not quite what Arne wants. I mean, my God, like, hitching Baz. I'll start to wrap up now because I've said that a few times. Mo needs to sign, give him what he wants. Yeah, listen, I've said that. I've said it more than Jordan Henderson said one game at a time in 1920 by this point. We absolutely are still working for it. Nico, I think they had one shot on target right at the end of the game. In fact, I'll check that now while I'm talking. But it was the tamest shot on target you've ever seen. And I guess the Kevin De Bruyne effort, which Keller kind of saved and then grabbed hold of, that would also go down to shot on target as well, I assume. So thanks, Virgil, for that one. But yeah, to sort of short answer it, very few moments whereby we looked in actual danger of conceding the goal today. There's a Rico Lewis effort in the first half that was tame, like weak piss. Am I too pessimistic, or does it all feel too good? Listen, I think you can allow yourself to feel the way you feel right now. Feel all the feels right now. I think we've earned that down the years. As Jurgen Klopp told us in the same room, by the way, Liverpool have paid the bill numerous occasions now, so we are allowed to enjoy nice things when they come around. We've had seasons absolutely derailed by injury. Touch wood, that clearly isn't the case right now. We've had seasons whereby we were pissing the Premier League and something's come along and made it not quite as fun as it once was. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen right now for everybody's sake. So yeah, I think we've been through enough hardship, even in the modern era. I'm not talking about when I grew up, because that was rough at times as well. There were some incredible moments on the way. We haven't even played one yet, absolutely. But just enjoy this, enjoy it, and all the contract stuff and the other noise and the narratives and speculation that go around it. Talk about it, discuss it, have your opinion on it, by all means. But when it comes to the actual footy on the pitch, just enjoy every single moment of it, because again, I'll come back to it. We are still a work in progress. We aren't the finished article yet, and yet still, we just beat Real Madrid. We just beat Man City. We're absolutely boss. The Reds are absolutely boss. And this is it. This is it. Like, I can't put too fine a point on it. I can't explain it any other way. We are absolutely boss. Just to come back to the point I was making a minute ago, Man City had 8 total shots, 2 of which were on target, compared to Liverpool's 18, 7 of which were on target. I'm not sure whether they've just got stuck on our first 20 minutes that's there, because, my God, it felt far more dominant than that. Hit the woodwork twice. They hit the woodwork 0 times, of course, because they were shit and we weren't. And that's the long and short of it, basically. Last couple of chats now before I wrap up. Lucky you, Dave's, and the videos, because if we think this is good, you should have been around back then. Shout out to every Liverpool fan in the chat. Says Fender, love you all. Yeah, we love you too. Arsenal ain't catching. If we can't be bullish now, when can we be? Yeah, I'm just enjoying nice footy and continuation of the vibes. I like the use of the word vibes at this point. There's a lot of good vibes. I think it's 98 points, to be honest, Solander, but still, we're nitpicking. And it was nice to see Harvey Elliott. It was. I was really pleased about that. And what a moment to come back into the fold as well. Like, again, on the back of beating Real Madrid and then 2-0 up and cruising to victory against Man City. Lovely to get Harvey back involved at that point, and hopefully more of that to come. And I'll tell you what, there is more to come of. Me talking to you, because that's going to happen again in about 2 minutes' time. But this time I won't be sat here. I'll be stood over there, and I'll have all the players behind me, plus some boss sound and your messing little ranking areas, I'm going to call them. Absolutely not what they're called. But come and join me for that, because again, I said it earlier on, without you telling me where to put them, absolute waste of time. I look stupid, we look stupid, nobody wants that. Come and join me, tell me where to put some faces, and we'll go from there.